hardest. What did you think about today?
Oh, it was just like the first one every year. It's hard to stay back, hard to like stay under control, but really try to get what I was working on and put it on display and see where we're at. I didn't really have very many expectations about today. I was kind of like I had a wait and see attitude about it, so I was just wanted to see how it was going to work, and we had somewhat of a plan, and I really liked the off speed. The off speed was really good today.
Off speed was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all four Ks came on the slider. Was that kind of part of the plan for you today?
Yeah. I really wanted to abuse that pitch today because it's completely a new grip for me right now. So it's a completely different slider and it's acting differently. So, location was kind of key with it. I missed early on and the guy almost hit one out, but we made adjustments there and we were able to locate it for the most part.
You used it a lot more last year, well, more than you ever had in your career. Is that kind of part of the plan again coming into 2022?
Yeah, I think it's something that's always worked for me, so I'm going to keep using it otherwise. And, I think the changeup's going to be a really good mix in the curveball too, but I think the bread and butter will still be the slider and fastball.
How would you describe the biggest difference in the slider?
It's just moving a lot more. It's got a lot more horizontal action on it. It probably moves double the amount my old one does. But my old one was, I just threw it off my fastball. I had to be really careful with it, start it in the zone and get it out of the zone. And this one just kind of goes across the whole plate. So, just picking my starting points with it, making it look like a fastball as well, but just knowing where it's going to end up and use it there.
Where'd you kind of pick it up? Would you just tinker with it in the off season? Somebody show it to you?
It was my first meeting I had with Sags, actually. It was he showed me a new grip, and, I took it and I believed in it. And I got good results right away. So just really wanted to see it in a game. Man, it's nice. It's working well.
Was that meeting like the day you signed, or was it this when you got here?
It was back near my signing. I can't remember which day, but it was back. The only meeting I had with him before the lockout, we talked about that. He showed me a new grip, and I took it into the off season and really worked on it. So it was really fun to work on, but.
So it was back when you were negotiating the deal and you met with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that part of, we talked a little, a couple days ago about the change from Colorado being your home games. Is changing the grip on the slider part of that because it will break more?
That's interesting. I don't know how it would do in elevation, but I mean, for here, my regular slider doesn't move that much on the road, so I'm definitely getting a lot more break with it, but it's still trying to make it off of my fastball is what's going to be key.
And then the other thing I forgot to ask you is the air here similar to Colorado? Like, will you not really know exactly how everything's going to move until you get somewhere else besides
It's still a similar place I can think of as Arizona to Colorado, but Colorado, I feel like if you don't throw the good one, it will back up. Here, you still get some movement, and I feel like curveballs move better here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Can you, if you're completely overhauling a pitch, would seem like a shortened spring might not be the optimal time to do it. You feel like you can get to a point where you're completely confident and comfortable with the slider in the shorter window.
Oh yeah, for sure, and that's only going to make the other pitches better. If the hitter's thinking about my slider, I'm going to use my changeup, use my curveball, move the fastball around. So there's always something else to go with.
But you're comfortable that you'll be completely confident now.
Yes. Yeah.
Guys, you plan on giving somewhat regular DH games to who would be otherwise normally in a position?
You mean like just
like I don't know if it's a set plan, but like Garver or Seager or something, like once every few weeks we want to make sure to give them a DH game.
yeah, maybe I'd like to. Just as the season goes on, I'm going to talk to those guys and see what their thoughts are there. Whether that's, I'm guessing they're going to want to DH instead of be off, and I think it has a lot to do with performance. If Mitch is catching and he's killing it, I'm going to want his batting lineup. I think we all are going to want his batting lineup. And as a catcher, you're not going to catch every single day. So he kind of stands out because he can obviously really hit. And, if he catches 2 games and we have a day game the next day, just talking to him before that and being like, hey, I'd love to DH you, on Sunday. I think that's more likely. Corey is one guy I want to make sure he stays healthy, but he wants to play every day.
Yeah.
Marcus played 162 last year. I don't envision him playing 162, but I mean, if it looks good, he feels good, it may turn out that way, but there may be some DH days in there to try to keep him in the lineup, but get him off his feet a little bit. So I think as we go, I think I'll get a better feel for it, but I definitely have mentioned it to him already.
If Corey was off for whatever reason, would you just keep Marcus at second, or would he be considered at short?
I think we'd probably put him at short.
Okay.
He asked me about that yesterday, and I think I'd like to kind of do that for him because he still wants to obviously.
Get fresh there.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, right? If something happens to Corey, he's our shortstop. I would put him there every day. So, just getting him reps there. He's going to play at least a game or two here at short one day. I don't know when that'll be, but definitely want to get him out there.
And then last one, I know last year you left Adolis in center because he was going to be there every day. Will you do the same thing even if Eli's in the lineup?
That probably not. More for the health, because he's on a quest to go 100 and something 60 games. I want to take care of him. It beats your body up when you play center field, especially the way he plays it.
Yeah.
If he didn't play as hard as he does, then I would probably not do that. But if it means maybe moving him to right field, taking a little heat off him, he'll still end up getting 6 balls over there and diving after everything. But or DH for that matter. Just I want to keep Adolis fresh. I want to keep him physically not burnt out, because I know the toll that it took on him last year. Just playing that position, I could tell it was a little bit of a decline. He got a little tired.
So if Eli going to play the outfield tomorrow?
Yes.
He's going to play center field tomorrow.
Yes.
Center field tomorrow.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you. If Eli is ready, and Eli's your center fielder, does that create yet another platoon situation for you in right field?
And what do you mean our
Adolis
center
and
field?
Cole?
Adolis? Platoon?
Yeah.
No. Adolis is an everyday player.
Okay.
Yeah. Until he proves otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah. Adolis deserves that opportunity. Yeah. I don't see that being a platoon. If anything, you could say it's almost like a platoon in the other spot. You just mix and match. I don't see Eli or even Jake, taking on the everyday center field. Leote probably fits that. Listen, for that to happen, that means something really, really good happened. That means Eli or Jake just went nuts, and there's nothing we can do but say, hey, this guy deserves to play every day. I don't think that's going to happen in a short amount of time before spring training.
So even if so I guess my point is, even if Eli's ready and he makes the team, he's still essentially in a fourth outfield kind of role.
Yeah, I mean, probably in a platoon to start, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it going to be the case where he's going to be an everyday guy to start. I just don't think he can do enough in a short amount of time. But it's more to be on the team, get consistent at bats. Everybody, I would like to have a role. Honestly, it'd be kind of nice to have everybody on the team instead of just, okay, we got a regular lineup and those other guys on the bench don't play ever. We want to give ourselves an advantage every night we play, and we have a roster that can actually fit that. So it's kind of nice. I mean, if they got a tough lefty, we got a right-handed lineup for you. If you got a righty, we got a pretty good left-handed lineup.
And so are you comfortable playing Eli and, well, I guess you'll get an idea over the next few days, but right field's the longest throw, right? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's healthy, so I don't think I don't want to start the season handcuffed with his health. If he's not ready, he's not ready. He's not making the team. We're not going to take it easy on him. He had surgery. He's healthy. He's good. That thing's healed up. It's a situation where it's I'm not worried at that point of. Right now, I'm a little. Obviously, it's his first game in the outfield. But to head into the season, I can't manage a game saying, okay, we're going to put him in the spot that's easiest on him. He's healthy. You know what I mean? If he came off a hamstring injury and, his hamstring's fully healthy, I'd expect him to run. I'm not going to ease him into it, especially to start this season.
What is the impression that Josh Smith has made on you this spring?
Oh, man. Yesterday, that was pretty impressive. Crochet throwing 98-mile-an-hour darts and nasty sliders. I mean, you can see the swings he made Jake. That was a tough at bat for Jake, and then Smith comes up and first pitch slider, swings through it. Second pitch check swing, borderline. Did he go? Did he not? And then he waffles one into left center. There's been zero back down. He's gotten beat up a little bit too. He got hit in the wrist, fouled one off his back knee yesterday. Just the way he goes about his business, the way he prepares, the at-bat quality, the way he plays defense, just his attention to detail, his focus. There's like a calm yet really intense focus to him. It's been impressive.
So, what were you told about him before you saw him play?
A lot of this. I mean, he was obviously the group that we got, in that trade with New York was pretty impressive. We saw it on yesterday. It obviously, wasn't Glenn's best outing, but at the same time, we're really excited about him with what he has. Basically, a MLB starting, pitcher, and then you got Josh Smith, Duran, and Trevor Hauer, who we haven't seen here yet, but I've seen on the backfields, and he's really good as well. So, Duran and Smith came as advertised.
Like, how was the story about him diving over the tarp kind of relayed to you?
I don't know that one.
You don't know the
No.
tarp story?
No. Did he pull a Derek Jeter and dive over and smash his face into the?
Yeah, his first spring training game last year.
Okay. Not surprising. Not surprising. Yeah, doesn't shock me. He's got a lot of characteristics of Derek, and that's obviously one of the highest compliments you can give a player. But similar focus about him. I think Derek maybe smiles a little more on the field, but Smitty's he's an impressive kid. Loves to be out there.
You mentioned the shifting lineup. How much stock do you put into right-left balance, kind of when you have your A lineup or your nightly lineup out there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it matters, obviously, especially in today's game where a lot of times starting pitchers don't go as long as they used to. You're not going to face a guy sometimes not even 3 times through. So at that point, you're going to get a lefty, you're going to get a righty. So if it's balanced, it's really hard as a manager to, if I stack lefties in there because I say, hey, we want to beat this starter. Well, if we're not winning after they take that starter out, we're in trouble because they're just going to go, left against us in that pocket of hitters. So the more you do that, the easier it is, especially when you have really good hitters consistently. That can be a little bit platoon neutral, where it's they can still have a tough at bat against a lefty or a good at bat against a righty, depending on their handedness. But it helps. I know it's hard as a manager on the other side because okay, I got to bring this guy. He's got to face this righty, in the middle of those 2 lefties. And if one of those lefties happens to get on, we're in trouble because that righty I know is going to have a good at bat, and then he only faces one lefty, and then there's a righty after that. So it puts you in a little bit of a bind as a manager, but. We have a pretty balanced lineup. I mean, today it's, the last couple of days I've been able to put our regulars in there, and it's like right, left, all the way down.
And you've got a guy like Garver, right, who not only what he does defensively, but kind of what's his presence like in the lineup, in Corey and Marcus?
Yeah, you saw it yesterday. One of the best pitchers in baseball, turned around twice. So it's pretty impressive what he's done up to this point, and he's got this calmness about him that he knows he's good. And there is a presence, especially when he comes after Marcus and Corey. It's a pretty intimidating top 3. When you're going up against that. And like I said yesterday, against a righty, didn't seem to bother him. And it was one of the best pitchers in baseball, and hit a couple homers. So it lengthens your lineup out. As soon as we got him, it made everybody kind of go back one, and puts our lineup at a really deep lineup.
Are Eli White and Nick Solak competing for the same roster spot right now?
No, I would say one's on one end of the other. No, because Nick is primarily like, you got a left field platoon type, right-handed bat. Eli and Jake are they're competing against each other. It's more of the right field, potentially platoon, plus, run off the bench where play center field. I think those 2 guys fit more in that regard than Nick does. And Nick provides us depth at second base. Something happens to Marcus, he can go second. He can play first base if he needed to. So I think it's a different. Obviously, it's a different position, but different reasoning to keep him on the roster.
Okay. And then at shortstop, you said Semyon might play there occasionally. Does that mean you don't need a quote-unquote backup shortstop as far as a utility guy
Yeah,
goes?
I mean, before we traded Kenner, we had 3, so it was kind of nice to not have to consider, backup shortstop, because that's always a big one, right? Backup shortstop, backup center field, you got to have. Clearly, you got to have a backup catcher, but it's nice to know your second baseman can slide over and be a pretty good shortstop as well. So that helps when it comes to roster construction. We probably still may have somebody to back up. Most of the guys in camp, you look at Yanni and Culberson, they both play short. So, but they also both play everywhere else.
Right.
And that's the key to that position.
But those are the 2 guys I'm thinking about, because Yanni's on the 40-man. Charlie's not. Charlie killed left-handers last year. Yanni's working on hitting for more power, but it'd be more convenient to keep Yanni on. It just seems like a little bit of a tricky decision to make.
It is. It is a tricky one because they both have their attributes and strengths and weaknesses, and it's, one guy can do one thing well, one guy can't do the other well, and, one guy has experience, the other guy doesn't. So there's a lot, obviously, to weigh there. One's on the roster, one's not. So a lot of them kind of counter themselves.
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, we just got to figure out what's best for our ball club.
What I'm hearing is that it might be neither if Semyon can play shortstop.
No, I think no, because we need a backup infielder.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously, and I'm saying those guys just happen to be able to play shortstop as well.
Gotcha.
We definitely need to have a backup infielder.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing about Josh Smith. You didn't mention anything about the stolen base yesterday. Thoughts?
He's been relentless on the bases. Like, you just watch him, he's always looking for an edge. So, he got the message loud and clear when I spoke to the team. Like, we are going to maintain our aggressiveness on the bases. We didn't do that for the last 3 years to, I guess make up for a lack of anything we did offensively. It's going to be in addition to what we do offensively. So Smitty bought it. I mean, he loves it. I got to watch it, like I said, before camp started. Got to see him on, just the way he trained, the way he worked, the way he talked about base running, little details that he tries to pick up on with pitchers. He's all in. He talks to Rag, and Bees about what the pitchers, what he's looking for. And then he makes in-game, he's out there. We haven't even talked about it because it's some kid from AAA that we've never seen. He recognizes that he's ahead, back and forth, gets a jump on the guy. So he is definitely a product of like what we want, because he's just constantly pressuring the other team, whether that's in the batter's box, on the bases, in the field, however way he can.
When was the last time you talked about being relentless on the bases?
When?
Yeah.
It's every day.
Okay. I didn't know if you had like a recent relentless on the bases. speech.
No, that's every day. But yes, there was a couple, I don't know, maybe less than a week ago.
Less than a
We
week.
had a base running, like we talked about we had already hit it from beginning, but Rags and Bees kind of led a base running discussion where I obviously reemphasized that to make sure guys were fully aware that haven't been here to hear that message, because I don't want there to be I want people to understand that and know that about us. Like, we're not changing. We're coming in right from the beginning. Like, we're going to be aggressive on the bases.
So